Did you open it?
My daughter opened it.
Rabbis that I've talked to have seen the Dibbuk box say this took a higher level of thinking than even just the average Jewish person would do.
Someone put a lot of energy into making every little piece for the box and binded their will to this object.
I can tell you that absolutely positively the last thing that crossed my mind was that I had a haunted wine cabinet.
Many people think of the box as a demon box, something that goes against God, something that goes against nature.
Jesus.
Taker of children.
I do think that there may be some things that can't really be explained all that well, and this is one of them.
I think it says Dibbuk.
The Dibbuk is, according to Jewish folklore, sort of a poltergeist.
A Dibbuk is a soul with unfinished business. It is not something supernatural or demon that was created at the beginning of time. A true Dibbuk is a person that wants something done.
I was at an estate sale several years ago when I bought an auction lot of items, and included in that lot was this little nondescript wine cabinet.
Kevin buys this item, and right away, family members come up and say, oh, I see you're the man that got the Dibbuk box.
I thought was something that had been included erroneously, and offered to give the box back, and the granddaughter said, no, it's yours, take it. And I thought that it had something to do with the grief that she was going through at the time, so I took the box and I left.
The actual wooden cabinet known as the Dibbuk box is a mahogany wood, a very nice wood. It's got wooden grape appliques, which are symbolic to the Jews of freedom.
And it had a unique property. When you opened the bottom drawer, the two doors up above opened automatically.
In vessels that are for God, you want the light to fall in equally at the same time. It's what is called an Aaron HaKadosh, which is a sacred cabinet.
But inside, there were some odd items.
Inside, there's actually what would be the prayer stone, 2 coins from 1925 and 1928. Another piece inside is a cup for wine. We also have inside a mystic candle, would be hair pieces, and then there would be actually a single dried rose, and that's pretty much the contents.
When I first opened the box and I found these items that were in there, I thought that I had really kind of uncovered an old lady's clutch of memories.
They're very personal items and unique to whatever family created the Dibbuk box. When you spin the cabinet around, there's the Shema, which is the prayer that most Jews would learn first and would hope to say last with their dying breath.
I decided to give the box to my mom for her birthday. I said, Mom, I'm giving you the box.
And as soon as she touched it, she had a stroke and came to in a hospital.
I went to the hospital, and when I got there, I found her in her room, and she let me know that she wanted to tell me something, and she spelled out hate gift. As Mom is having a stroke, I can tell you that absolutely positively the last thing that crossed my mind was that I had a haunted wine cabinet of any kind. When I started having these just bizarre nightmares and seeing things out of my peripheral vision, started seeing shadows, if you will. Shadows that have form, shadows that have 3 dimensions. Then I decided that I need to get rid of the box. So I decided to put it on eBay. When I finally sold the box, I sold it to a kid in the Midwest who was a college student. And I remember calling up and asking him, you know, listen, you understand that there's a story there. You understand what the story implies. You know, why are you buying the box? And he told me that he was getting it because his parents had had a wine cabinet like that when he was growing up. And I hesitated and I asked him about it until he finally said, look, I bought the damn thing, send it to me.
I knew the college student lived in town. Let me tell you what happened to this kid. I mean, he went from a great student to being on probation. His life pretty much changed. He won't even talk about it. The college kid who bought it and then started having problems felt that the same way to get rid of it was, they told me, if you want it, it will be on eBay. It was in the back of my mind, but if I bought it, then it was brought into my life, and I already knew about all the horrible things that could happen. And it was only when another colleague of mine, he goes, why don't you help me get this Dibbuk box? Well, so that's how I ended up actually buying it, only to find a colleague of mine afraid of it, having some illnesses, and never wanting to be in contact with it again. And now I had a problem. I was the owner of the Dibbuk box. As I got it out, one of the first things that I noticed was a sharp pain, as if someone had just brought a knife up through me. And then I quickly lost interest in doing anything else with the Dibbuk box. I literally wrapped it up, put it back in storage, and kind of like, that was it for the night. When I went to bed, my sleep was restless. I was glad to finally wake up in the morning, went into the bathroom to shave, wash my face, and as I looked in the mirror, what looked back at me were these bloody eyes. It had literally looked as if someone had clawed inside my eyes. I kind of panicked.
He appeared very ill for several, almost like weeks, I guess. It seemed maybe even months.
My first instinct when I had my eyes bloody was I had touched and brought some contaminant into my body. We went through and tested it multiple times. There was nothing on the box that is poisonous that could cause these dreams. There is nothing contaminating. We used a black light, we searched it over. There's no human material on it. It is strictly a wooden container.
I started to see clouds of almost like black fire, not even smoke. It doesn't look like smoke, it like black fire kind of going into walls.
We were in this very room that we're in.
It took about 30 seconds for it to slowly move, all kind of wispy-like, all the way across the room, and then just kind of disappear.
I didn't want to have it here in the home with my children. And so we had bought the house next door, but nobody was living in it. And I thought, well, this would be the perfect place. If I went through the cellar door into the basement, there was a crawl space that I could actually take it in there, do a ritual to stick, supposedly, the spirit in that space. The box stayed put for almost 5 months. And I went over there. It's the middle of winter. And there around the area of the box are these house centipede things, these venomous, poisonous little, and there's literally hundreds of them clumped in the area where the box is on the other side of the wall, as if they're just basking in the energy. As soon as we came in, they all scattered, and I was able to get a picture before they all went to all the corners of the house. But you would never ever see even one of these, let alone hundreds of these things there. There was this white film that had not been there, and all the spiders had died midstream in their webs, completely coated in this kind of white substance, which, if you think kind of Jewish terms, manna. Manna was a mold that was edible, it had no flavor, no color, no real odor, just this white substance. It is as if the whole room had been basically painted in it. Now what's weird is as soon as I took the Dibbuk box out, it all went away. It was gone. Again, these things I can't explain, but they're tied to the story of the Dibbuk box and my experience with it. So my thought was, if I get rid of it, all I've done is lost control of the one thing that might be affecting my life. So I turned to what I do best, which was research, history, learn everything I could about this thing's origin, who owned it before, so I could figure out what was going on.
I need your help.
This must be left to the will of God.
The advice given to me by rabbis was, if you truly want to put it away, you must do this respectfully. Create an ark of one tree of acacia, the sacred wood. Line it in 24-karat gold, because God feels that this is a material that isn't even worthy of man. And it is a blessing to God. And so I did those things.
Jason simply went out and had an acacia wood case lined in 24-karat gold made to try and keep the box from emitting some of its influence.
This is the container that protects it, according to both scientists and rabbis, that it has a calming effect on the Dibbuk box. Okay, let's open her up. We won't open it up, but it will be there. This is how it actually opens. You can see how this lifts, and then the doors swing open. I've become more spiritual because of working with the Dibbuk box and figuring out its secrets and mysteries. And that is why I'm very respectful. I feel like I'm a caretaker of this object and responsible for its care. People are constantly reaching out, begging for access to the Dibbuk box. And you don't know what type of crazy person is out there. And so I'm very cautious about where it's located. I don't tell people where it's at.
As someone in sciences, yeah, I would love to find an answer to the box. It's just such a strange collection of events that happened around this particular object.
The only reason we got it out the other day, I mean, literally was I still didn't open it. We had it in its ark, and just so that you could actually see what it looked like, kind of opened the ark with the gold leaf, and we're able to see the Dibbuk box. That's as far as it went, is not to open it, not to give you any possibility of being tied to this thing.
You can turn off your TV. You can turn off your DVD Blu-ray player right now. And you can walk over to your computer and you can type in the term Dibbuk box. And here's the weird part. At that point, for some people, there will be a connection. There'll be something that reaches out, that grabs you, that touches you, that makes you say, oh, I'm interested in this for whatever that reason is. And at that point, you have to understand something. You're not watching a story. You've now become part of the story.